What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This week we are talking about this adaptation of Dracula.
Dracula! Oh boy, man, I loved it and I hated it.
Wow.
But
I loved it thoroughly.
You loved it thoroughly, so that's why this video is going to be awesome, because there are going to be two sides of this argument or this conversation. But first things we want to do is give you three reasons why you should watch it. Now I know that I've already said that I hated it, but I loved it and I hated it. You loved it all the way.
Yes.
But there are three things why you should watch it. Number one, it's a fresh retelling of Bram Stoker's story. It's a visceral time period setting.
Yeah, there's been a lot of adaptations of Dracula throughout the history, and every time one comes out, there's the one with Keanu Reeves, there's the original Nosferatu that everyone that one where he looks like an elf and has long nails.
But anyway, this fresh retelling is super smart, super fun, and it has some of the best sequences in terms of, scare factor that I have seen in most recent years. There's a lot of horror movies out there that try to get you to jump and all of that stuff, but this does it really well just by setting an atmosphere. Yeah,
I mean, I might be in the minority when I say this, but I think Dracula, the story itself, and vampires in general, they don't need to be horror.
Right.
They don't need to be scary. They just kind of have to set the tone that it's a little dark, and there's like a seriousness to this whole story that doesn't need jump scares. It doesn't need like the shadows walking behind you down a corridor. It just kind of creates this terrifying feeling that something's out there.
And one of the surprising things, which is the second reason, is Dracula himself.
Yeah, it was actually a really, really refreshing take on Dracula. Most of them, obviously, in history are like, oh, yes, I am Dracula.
Dracula!
This one is played by Claes Bang. I am unfamiliar with his work, but he did a terrific job with Dracula in this.
I thought he was amazing. He was funny, he was charismatic, and it's a different take on Dracula. You just have to watch it and find out for yourself.
Another fresh take on this tale, Van Helsing. Now, when I first saw who was involved in, the first few minutes, I wasn't expecting to see that part of the tale, but it was a fresh take on it. I thought it was very cleverly done and tastefully done.
Tastefully done. I thought it was very, very funny. Very, very smart. She has wit, she has charm, but she's also got this attitude about her that makes you be an instant fan right off the bat. Yeah,
there's a certain degree of levity in the entire telling of this Dracula, right? As you said, he's charismatic and he's funny. Van Helsing herself is also witty, as you said, but there's a certain pragmatism to her around hearing the first few minutes of his tale, which is the first episode, and just the way she has this sort of ambivalence about her. Doesn't necessarily shout out Van Helsing in the beginning.
It's different and it's fresh and it's very unique, and I think I think she does a really good job.
Spoiler alert, if you have not seen Dracula, we are going to dive a little bit into the details here, so if you haven't watched it, click away from this video and come back after you've watched it.
And don't forget to like and subscribe before you do anything else. But spoilers ahead, you've been warned. Let's do this.
It's a long and complex story.
Oh, one of the best beast transformations I have seen to date. When the wolf comes barking at the convent's gates, you knew that was going to be Dracula, but what caught me off guard was how he transformed out of it.
The transformation, dare I say, was adventurous and very creative in the fact that most of these movies and shows try so hard to make the wolf morph.
Like Underworld?
Yeah, they try to make the wolf morph into the body, and in this case, you guys have seen it, this is spoiler territory, the wolf dies and he crawls out of the grotesque
guts himself
remains.
Out of the wolf.
I don't know about you girls, but I do love a bit of fur.
I thought that was so spectacular, so visceral. Just the way that they did it, it was tasteful in a sense that you can appreciate the creative license that they took in doing it this way, right? Because it's not morphing into a human. All of these things that you've seen, like you said, we've been inundated with all of these legends. This was a fresh take.
Yes, absolutely. And it kind of makes it more visceral, more real, because how would you expect shapeshifters to shape into their form, right? It's not like Morph or Mystique from X-Men, you know, and it's definitely not like Underworld where they're like going like this.
I really, really just love Dracula himself. Like his charm, his wit, he was really charismatic, and just his overall being, his demeanor was like not your serious, overly serious Dracula. Like you got in the original Bram Stoker with Keanu Reeves. You know, you had a brooding and self-loathing Dracula just longing for love.
Well, like in all these tales, right? You have Castlevania, you have Bram Stoker's. You had Nosferatu with the creature, and then you had Bram Stoker with this kind of pale, like aristocratic, almost holier than thou everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we have this, who's kind of just like very, very realistic.
Yeah, he's kind of like, well, you know, you're not gonna live, so you might as well just let me suck on your blood.
At sea, one meets an interesting range of characters, and I would advise you not to get too attached to any of them.
Suckle.
Cowboy. Suckle.
I will have to say, I loved it the first 2 episodes. The first 2 episodes of this miniseries, I loved it. The period setting was great. The graphics, the special effects with the fast twitch of the bodies, the animations, the wolf, everything. The Demeter episode when he shoots the fog out in the air and just like picks them off one by one. Fantastic. Fucking fantastic. The last 2 episodes, I was like, what the fuck? Like Lucy Westenra, that was great, but she, like, it is in the story, you know her story, and then the cowboy, and then Dr. Jack. That whole like different time jump to me was just like reintroducing a brand new set of characters that there wasn't enough time for me in like personally to be attached to. And those 2 episodes, it happened so fast. Like Dr. Jack, like he was the weakest character. He had the less lines in the show, and I didn't feel anything for him whatsoever. He shows up in a nightclub, and then he shows up at the end, stabs Lucy, and it's like, that's it, that's his arc. And then at the end, where it was just like Dracula was ashamed of himself for not being able to die. Bullshit, man. That I will not take that, because this is a legendary monster. Yes, we've been fed with, you know, all of its stories and all of the glory of Dracula, right? But like I feel like that's a cop-out. I just think that's a cop-out.
Well, I stand in firm disagreement, because Dr. Jack Seward and Lucy Westenra, they're all side characters who served a purpose of moving the plot forward. It was always all along about the Van Helsing bloodline and the Dracula tale. Now, why I loved where they went with it in the last episodes was because, you know, from the very beginning, you're expecting to be retold this tale we've heard so many times, and I was not expecting them to kind of recontextualize it in modern day and recontextualize everything that we know about the myth. Now, to your point, that's one thing I loved about like the entire series was just reframing the man Dracula, or the vampire, and recontextualizing his rules, or the rules we've been taught throughout history, and also recontextualizing the relationship between Van Helsing and Dracula. You know, it's all about vampire hunting and shooting arrows at Dracula and trying to drive stakes through his heart, but the way the story moved forward from a contemporary standpoint, we have Dracula and the descendant of Van Helsing. Now, we can debate about Lucy and Jack all we want. They were just there as propellants for the story. Yeah. But in essence, what it all boiled down to was Dracula what made Dracula. Obviously, it was everybody he's ever consumed, and all of their fears and all of their lives. Blood is lives, but the one takeaway from this series that I loved the most was that it ended with Van Helsing and Dracula in sort of a semi-symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Where she drank his blood. She knew everything that he had consumed in other people's lives, and it became that factor that led her to understand Dracula psychologically and know how to, I guess, get under his skin. And then at the end of the day, it was her understanding of him as a person that led him to take his life and end it with her. And I thought it was kind of Romeo and Juliet poetic, how instead of having a vampire hunter driving a stake through Dracula's heart, it was actually a mutual understanding of the two, where we had Dracula, who had finally been confronted about his fears and all of these myths and rules about him that were not true, like the sun and the sign of the cross, and then just die with Van Helsing.
Okay, I mean, one thing I will agree is that it was a fresh retake, a fresh retelling of Dracula, made him more into the man versus the monster. Well, guys, what do you think about this argument? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I loved it and I hated it.
I loved it.
All the way through. Leave your comments in the section below, and don't forget to hit that like, turn on notifications so you get more videos from us when we post it, and we'll see you next time.